Please, don't tell him I'm here.
Excuse me, have you seen Emily? I'm not going into the bushes with you.
Welcome to the Pot. I'm D.S. Elias. This is where culture meets the kitchen. Whether we're talking food, psychology, spirit, or society, we always bring it back to what feeds us literally and culturally. So grab a plate, pull up a chair, and let's stir the pot. Let me know, where are you watching from? Did you guys eat dinner already? Are you making dinner? Will you be having dinner? I can smell it from here. Somebody's cooking something up really nice. So today I made some French baguettes from scratch. Oh yeah, let me know if you can hear me good. Let me know if you can hear me good. Yeah, so I made some baguettes from scratch. I got 3 of them. And I got some cream cheese the other day, and I wanted to put some. I'm a New Yorker, so we have to have our cream cheese with bread or bagel or whatever, you know. So I think a baguette is just what I'm in the mood for tonight. A little French baguette with a little butter. Yeah, what would you put on yours? Let me know. Let me know. I'm D.S. Elias. I'm a professional chef and a professional foodie. You are watching The Pot podcast right here on the Food Plane YouTube channel. We are all things food and culture. Our channel is filled with fun food facts, delicious recipes, and a lot of food and travel lately. Oh yeah, you're watching The Pot. We're here every Thursday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. And I've embarked on a journey. I packed my bags and began traveling the United States looking for America's best food destinations. And so far we have had 4 episodes. And we started out in New Haven in Connecticut, home of Yale University. And it's amazing. It's an hour and a half from Manhattan, and it's amazing how much of a foodie place New Haven is. I'm just amazed. It's always been there, an hour and a half away. And you got some of the best pizza in America there, which I showed you in episode, I believe it was episode 2, where we visited one of the best pizzerias in America. And so New Haven is such a foodie place. There's so many other places to go to. However, we got to move on. So if you missed it, this past Saturday, we visited an Ethiopian restaurant that's been in New Haven for over 25 years. Over 25 years. You got to be good to be open for 25 years. Most restaurants shut down in their first year. 25 years, that's a testament. So here's a little appetizer, a little amuse bouche, a little hors d'oeuvre, just something to wet your palate. So here we have lentils with Burberry, and then we have spinach and potatoes. We also have cabbage and potatoes, and in the middle, Doro Wat. What we're gonna do is we're gonna grab a piece of injera. Anyway, there you have it. That's just a little taste. That's it, little tasty taste. But wow, what an experience. Ethiopian, African cuisine. Oh my gosh, it's some of the best. I love injera. It's, as you see in the video, we talk about injera, what it's made of. I had a chance to speak with the owner. She came all the way from Ethiopia and began this business, and it's been a success over there in New Haven. 25 years, and I show you everything, the whole experience. We have it on. So we've been to the Louis lunch, where you the birthplace of the hamburger. That was the first episode. Some of the best pizza. We went to the Prince Tea House. So yeah, it's all available here on the Food Plane. So give those videos a check. Also, if you haven't seen some of our other podcasts, we had a wonderful podcast with Dr. Tashi, and we were talking all things tech and AI, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And what a conversation that was. That was a lot of fun talking with her. We asked a lot of questions. We talked about a lot of things. And yeah, so also last week, Carolyn Nichols was here. All things health and nutrition. We had a wonderful time. She shared so much important and valuable information. So you don't want to miss that. We talked high blood pressure, sugar diabetes, inflammation, diets, and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, that was great. We had Johnny Edwards not too long ago. We had Gwendolyn, G.R. Houston Jack, who, by the way, will be here next week. Next week, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. G.R. Houston Jack will be in his house. Yeah, we're going to continue that wonderful conversation, because if you watch it, you'll see that towards the end, woo, Sookie, you got cooking, right? But we had to cut it off. But you know what? There will be no time limit next week when G.R. Houston Jack is in the house. Also, just letting you know, if you guys are into Spotify and Apple Podcasts, we are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So usually what happens is later on the evening, or at least by the morning, within the next 24 hours, this podcast will be all over Spotify, all over Apple Podcasts. So yeah, if you're into that, just check out the podcast with D.S. Elias on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Oh, yeah. Also, giveaways. Let's talk about it. So listen, at least once a month right here on the podcast, we will be giving away up to $100. Listen, recently, we've just given away $300. Someone won $100 not too long ago, and recently $200 just for watching. Somebody got $200 just for watching the podcast. So that's why, watch the podcast. Listen, at least once a month. And I don't tell you when we're going to do it. I've been saying that, but lately I've been giving you a little heads up, but that's all right. So that's the point, is it's an incentive. It's just me saying thank you for watching. And we hope that, because not every week will be the giveaway. However, it could be today also. I'm crazy like that. Tonight might be a giveaway. If not, it'll be maybe next week, or maybe the following week. We've already done 3 in less than 2 months. So I'm telling you, $200, that's crazy just to watch a podcast, have some fun interacting with other foodies. Yeah, so we do giveaways at least once a month. However, they're only for subscribers, and to subscribe is absolutely free. Absolutely free. Tickets to board the Food Plane is free. Become a passenger of the Food Plane. Why not? If you love all things food and culture, that's what we're all about. We're all about the positivity. We're all about putting smiles on your face. Yeah. So giveaways up to $100. I've been doing it a lot lately. So also pay attention to the show, because the questions we ask are tied to the shows. So for example, if I do it today, it'll be a question about last week's program. If I do it next week, it'll be about this week's program, so on and so forth. So we do giveaways. All right. So hopefully you're enjoying the podcast. Hopefully you're enjoying the shows we're putting out, because I am, and a lot of other people are. So I'm excited about that. Let's see who is in the chat, who is in the house tonight. All right. Oh, I hate when the mouse does that. Okay. Of Salt and Silence, Poetry is in the house, says, hi, DS. Hi, passengers of the Food Plane. Excited for tonight's show. So am I. Love the clip, says Salt and Silence. Look who's in the house. Hannah Boyd Miller in the house. So good to see you, Hannah. Hello, DS and Ron. Hannah is in his house. Of Salt, the sound is good. Thank you very much. All right. Watching from Florence, Kentucky. I love that. Wow. Did you have dinner already? How's the barbecue in Kentucky, Hannah? And if when we do go to Kentucky, where do you recommend I go? What's the dish of Kentucky? I'm interested. This is what it's all about, interacting with each other, having some fun here. All right. Loved episode 4. Such a fun looking place. It was, to be able to take pieces of that injera. The way they serve it, like the plate was, well, there was a plate underneath, but basically the plate, the bed for the food is the injera made from teff flour. And teff seeds are so tiny, but it's also gluten free. Oh my goodness. So they make a flour out of it and then they ferment it for a few days. Oh my God, what a wonderful experience and a lot of fun. I can see, excuse me, bringing a family, bringing family, friends, go on a date. Oh, it's a lot of fun. All right, there's a long time for the restaurant. That's a long time for the restaurant business. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. As I said earlier, statistics show most restaurants fail in their first year. That's crazy. Those numbers have gotten better, though, throughout the years. They have. All right. That walking video was very relaxing. Good job. Well, thank you. Yes, she's talking about we did a walking video of Manhattan. So if you, isn't that wonderful? So here's the thing. Every place we visit in the United States on this journey that I'm on, looking for America's best food destinations, we show you the culture of the place by walking. No narration. You're basically walking down the streets of Manhattan. And so it's available to watch. It's on our channel. We just put it out yesterday or the day before. And you're walking all of Midtown. You see Madison Square Garden, Empire State Building, all that good stuff. And you get to see NoHo area. So Midtown Manhattan, we did a walk. We did a walk in New Haven, Connecticut. Everywhere we visit, we will do a walking video. I think that's so cool. Think about it. If it wasn't for YouTube, how in the world would you be able to do that? How? And that's what I love. That's what really got me into content creating and certain YouTubers is I first started watching because my wife, she's from New England. And every time I was in New England, I missed Manhattan. And so I couldn't believe that. Wait a minute, I could just put on a video and I'm just walking down the street right there in Manhattan. You could do night walk videos. You got morning walk videos. So yeah, we have a Manhattan walking video and there'll be so many more of that because that is my hometown. All right. All right. So let me, Sajatrona. Man, help me with that one. Sajatrona, can I get $100? Let me ask you, can I get $100? Can a brother have $100? No. Hey, so listen, if the giveaway is today, you may have a chance at it. We give away once a month up to $100. And we ask a question. Like today, we always do a trivia. We always do a fun foodie trivia every week on the channel. But so when the trivia is connected to the giveaway, you will know. All right. So are you AI? If are you AI? If you see this, respond to me. Are you AI? Wow, interesting question. I don't know how to respond to that. It's not a bad thing you're asking. Of course, no, I'm not AI. All righty, interesting. All right. Welcome to the Podcast. I'm glad that you're here. Okay, so Salt Inside. Hi, Hannah. Thank you for joining us. All the love yous. Walking videos were great. Walking videos were great. All right, we have a little misspelling here. All right. Walking videos were a great way for people during. Yes. That's when they really exploded. That whole movement. Am I good? I feel like. Okay, so that whole movement started during the pandemic. It took off, I should say. It took off with guys like Action Kid in New York. Yeah, his videos took off. He's the pioneer. So yeah, they're a great way for people during the pandemic to feel like they got out for a bit. Yes, I totally agree. All right, so let's do the trivia of the week. Today's trivia is what food was once so prized in ancient Rome that people used it as a form of salary? What food was once so prized in ancient Rome that people used it as a form of salary? We will give you the answer shortly. But in the meantime, here's a little bit of hospitality news. Yes, in Texas, Muslim pitmasters are putting their own spin on Texas barbecue, serving halal barbecue while honoring tradition, culture, and flavor. Barbecue without the pork, the poke, without the poke. Wow, what are your thoughts? Barbecue without the pork. Well, it's happening in Texas. Yes, it is. All right. What about this? Yes, it's true. This is true. It's really happening. KFC just served Oreos chicken, Oreo flavored black bun, mashed potatoes with crushed Oreos in it. Oh my goodness. I got to hear it. Let me know in the comments because that is crazy. It's not for me. That is definitely, I haven't tasted it. It might be delicious. I don't know if that would work. You know, sweet and savory does work a lot in food, of course. Like pineapples on pizza does not work for me. Let's debate that. You know, if you like pineapples on your pizza, go right ahead. You do you, boo. Me? No. I ain't not me. Ain't no pineapples on my pizza. That's for sure. However, this right here, ooh, let me know. What do you think? And in other news, how many of you saw this? Let me know, women. Let me know, ladies. Oh my goodness. Tell me what you guys think of this. This is actually real. Chanel just sold a shoe that's barely a shoe. It's basically just the heel. Just the heel. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. Let's see what you guys are saying. So of salt and silence poetry says salt. I believe that's where the phrase worth your salt came from. Interesting. That KFC thing is a good example of because I'm sorry. That KFC thing is a good example because you doesn't mean you because you can doesn't mean you should. All right. Got it. Who in their right mind would wear that? Yeah, I hear you. All right. So you wouldn't. Oh, wow. Wow. All righty. Let's see. What else do we have? All right. What is the answer to our trivia? The trivia answer is yes, it's salt. In ancient Rome, salt was so valuable that it was used as a form of payment. Soldiers were even given a salt allowance. It's the origin of the word salary. Yeah, see what you learn here on the pot? See what you learn on the pot. All right. So next week, ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned already, G.R. Houston Jack will be in the house for part 2 of our conversation. I'm really excited about that. And oh my, let me see real quick. Just let me check the comments because we're about to have our guests come on. Hi, beautiful people. Jazzy is in his house. Nice to see you, Jazzy. All right. A little love going on there. All right. Sounds good. Let me take this down. I think you guys get the point on this. All right. Yeah. Here you go. Please, Hulk, smash that subscribe button. We can use the encouragement. Absolutely. All right. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, it's happening. He is here. National Geographic's featured professional photographer and nomadic traveler. Ron Foster is about to join me and help me stir the pot. Ron Foster is in the house.
Hello, DS.
Ron. Look how handsome. Look at him shining. Look at him wearing his famous beanie. Oh, wow. How are you, Ron?
I am doing great. And I'm just laughing at you, at all the information that you gave us. I love it.
Yeah. So you just got back from one of your nomadic journeys, didn't you?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yesterday, I arrived back from Fort Lauderdale, and where I had the great opportunity to spend time with our wonderful Dr. Tachi, and it was absolutely wonderful. We went to several places. Since we are on the food plane, for those that want to get on the food plane and experience food, the place for foodies is definitely Fort Lauderdale.
Wow, that's surprising me.
I
would have thought Miami.
Fort Lauderdale.
Wow.
Secret spots.
Yeah.
Beautiful fusion restaurants.
Yeah.
We went to a Haitian restaurant.
I saw that.
Chinese restaurant. Not Chinese, but Asian restaurant. It was incredible.
Yeah. So you're back in New York now?
Back in New York.
You're back in the New York state of mind?
And it's New York state of mind. And just for a couple of days, I leave out next week to head to Iceland.
To Iceland. That's
back
crazy.
To Iceland.
Back to Iceland. So you were already there. We're going to talk about all that.
Yeah.
So, Ron, here is a segment we like to call Snack to the Future. So, Ron, and let me know let me know, do you guys remember this? Do you guys remember this? Boone's Farms. These were alcoholic beverages back in the 90s. They were very popular. Yeah, it's a segment called Snack to the Future. It's a little bit about nostalgia. It's a lot about nostalgia. It's all about nostalgia. All right. How about these?
Yes.
Oh, I could still taste them.
I can still taste them. I love those things.
Oh, they used to be like what, a nickel sometimes, 10 cents or something.
10 cents.
Yeah. Crazy. All right. How about this?
Yes, I remember.
You remember these? Chunky. Let me know. Yeah, these were good. I enjoyed. I wonder if they're even still around.
Yes, if you go to a store in New York, there's a store here that has all kinds of old candy. Yes.
Wow. Oh, I've heard of that. They got several of them, but I've heard of those. Hi, Ron. Excited for this show, says of Salt and Silence Poetry. Alcohol, liquid sugar with colors. That's what it was. Pretty much. That's what it was. So, Ron, wow. So you worked at Wall Street for a while, huh?
Yeah, I worked at the American Stock Exchange for about roughly 10 years, and then left, went back to college, and then went back to the exchange for another 4 years.
Okay. I got a little ahead of myself. So where were you born? Where are you from?
I was born in Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn, New York, baby.
Brooklyn, New York, yes.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So you're a New Yorker, full-blown New Yorker. I love it.
Born and raised.
We are New Yorkers. Oh man, I lived in Brooklyn for about 3.5 years. Back a while back. But let's just keep it like that. Anyway, but yeah, I lived right in the middle, right in Crown Heights. I lived right in I went to junior high school there. I was living in the middle of the West Indians, the Trinidadians, and then the Orthodox Jewish people. So I was right smack in the middle of all of that.
You were smack in it all.
I was even there when that horrible situation happened back in the day.
Oh, really?
In Crown Heights. Yeah, I was living right there. I was just 2 blocks away from there. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's my experience with Brooklyn. I am so amazed at what's happening with Brooklyn. I mean, it's like the new
Mm.
Manhattan now.
It is Manhattan. It is, well, first of all, I grew up in it was Fort Greene, then it became Clinton Hill, and
Yeah.
now it remains Clinton Hill. But it was in between the gap of Fort Greene and Bed-Stuy, and
Hmm.
so it went by both names. But yeah, you weren't that far from me.
Yeah.
But Brooklyn has definitely changed. I used to live in a high rise facing the skyline. So over the years, it totally changed from no tall buildings, I should say one or two tall buildings on the skyline to like 35 new skyscrapers in downtown Brooklyn.
Yeah. Have you always been in Brooklyn or have you moved around
Yes.
like I did? Oh,
Born
you've
and raised and lived in Brooklyn all my life until now.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I got to do it. So I was in Brooklyn for a little. I've been in every borough, I think. I was in Queens for a little while, Jamaica, Queens. But most of my life, Midtown Manhattan, right there in the middle of Hell's Kitchen. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, right there. I was in the middle of everything, Ron. Oh, it was so wonderful. Anyway, enough of me. So, Ron, Ron, so how did you get into Wall Street to begin with?
Oh man, that's a funny story. I was originally working at the Fairchild, which is a aerospace company out in Long Island, and building aircraft because my schooling is in aerospace engineering. And so my company that I was working for did not get a government grant, and so they laid us all off. And
Oh,
so in the layoff, I looked into the New York Times, and it said that particular weekend, it said Wall Street jobs openings, and apply, no experience necessary. And I looked at my mother and said, "Hey, let me go try it out." And yeah, so I went for the interview, and at that time I was a part-time worker, and that position became a full-time position.
wow. What was that like working there? Give me the positives of working there.
It was hell at first.
Uh-huh.
It was an experience because first I had never experienced being on the trading floor.
Wow.
I didn't. I never. I only knew of the stock exchange from television,
Yeah.
and or reading the Wall Street Journal, or reading the New York Times, and the financial section. And so I found myself in the middle of the trading floor at the American Stock Exchange as what they call a reporter, and I used to report trades. So the trades would happen in the crowd, like something like you would see in trading places. That was called the pit.
Oh, wow.
And as a matter of fact, my first position at my job was working in the pit at the American Stock
Wow.
Exchange. And so they threw me in what they call the sharks
Yeah.
den.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I had to learn quickly, and I ended up getting it, and it opened up a lot of opportunities for me
Wow. 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 That you were right in the middle of the chaos when it
in the
happened.
chaos.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So then how did you get into photography? How did you switch from that? Why did you leave? And then how did you get into photography? Did you go into photography after Wall Street?
No.
Really?
Photography started when I was in high school. Pretty much, I would say, yeah, junior high school into high school. I was always fascinated with cameras because my mom had cameras, my father had cameras, my grandfather had cameras, my aunt had cameras. It was always photography was always around me. So I used to sneak my mother's camera out to school to photograph my classmates, and so that's where it really began. Was really just photographing my classmates and along the way, and then just started to grow my curiosity of photography, and then I put it down
Excuse me,
after a while.
one second, Ron.
Yes.
I apologize, but I got to deal with this right here. So, Joe, welcome to the podcast. Nice having you here. It says back up from the camera, bro. Now, so here's what I'll say. Remember that this is very important. Um, Yeah. So I think that, is there a better way to say it? Is there a more polite way to say it? Because here on the food plane, here on the podcast, we take it seriously that we are kind to each other. Let's be kind to each other. If you're not a nice person, if you're rude, if you don't know how to talk nice to people, this is probably not going to be for you. And we'll have to just block. But I don't want to do that. I believe, Joe, you're a nice person. I think I'm not saying your intentions were wrong. I just think maybe there's a better way. Back up. It's like a command. I think there's just a better way, like, hey, my experience, or I feel like, or give a reason that you feel that way. But it comes across as with an attitude. Dr. Tashi is here. Good evening, all. And then here's where it gets worse. Ron, back the fuck up, dude. That's where I draw the line, Joe.
Mm.
Joe, I mean, come on, really? Why are we talking? Is that how you talk to people? How do you have friends around you when you talk to them like that? Joe, that's not very nice, man. So I apologize, dude, but I mean, yeah, we can't have that. We can't have that, dude. So
Well,
he's
he's
he's he's
gone.
he's gone. All right. Sorry, Joe,
He's
man.
gone.
I wish people were nicer. Like, there's no need for that. Just be nice.
But I'm used to the trolls. I mean, trolls pop in and out, and
Yeah, that's part
unfortunately,
that's part of the
yep,
gig.
if you're online, you're gonna have trolls, and it comes with the territory. But most of the people in the audience, everyone's doing great, so that's
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
happens.
Okay.
So,
So. Wow. So okay, what inspired you to get into photography? What started that?
so again, I photographed a lot of my friends in school. So we would have our events at school. I would photograph. I would be the one with the camera and taking pictures. And then later on, I started just going outdoors and fiddling with camera,
Yeah.
photographing at the botanical garden or
Yeah. Oh wow.
flowers and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Just curiosity of the world and
Yeah.
documenting it,
Yeah.
but not serious.
Right.
And then I kind of like put the camera, and then I also took some not classes, but I bought some books to learn how to take pictures,
Mm-hmm.
and then I just stopped out of nowhere. I just stopped. It wasn't an interest to me until we started getting these smartphones. So we got these
Right.
little smartphones, and my first
Yeah.
smartphone with a camera, I do believe, was my Palm Pre, and I used to travel with my Palm Pre, and I used to take pictures along the way everywhere I would go, and so as the smartphones began to become better at taking pictures, then I started taking it a little more serious and photographing more. And then I decided to get some cameras. But no, you know what? Let me go back. Let me go back because I was at church. I used to I used to photograph at church because I always I don't know why I always had a camera with me, but I had a little, again, my mother's camera. And so the pastor of the church noticed that I love taking pictures. And so he offered to me the what do I call it, the opportunity of a lifetime. He says, since you love taking pictures, how about I buy you a camera
What?
and you can be the church photographer?
What?
And that was the beginning. I can, if I must say, that was the pinpoint. And I have that camera? I still have that camera. That
We
camera
have
is
an exclusive. We have an
the
exclusive.
camera is right here.
Look
So
at that.
it's my first little Pentax. If you can
Wow.
see that,
Whoa. Oh my
and,
gosh.
he bought this for me for
Wow.
me to take pictures at the church. And so I would take pictures of the choir, take pictures of the congregation, take pictures when we went on bus outings. So I became the church photographer. And that was really the beginning of me really photographing with a purpose.
Yeah.
And so yeah, because it was just before that, it was just taking pictures. But now I had a purpose,
Wow.
and someone bought me a camera, and I used it. and it opened up a lot of doors, as in, taking pictures around the church,
Yeah.
opportunities. People began to know me as a church photographer,
Mhm.
and roaming around with the camera.
Yeah.
And again, then I put it down. Then it went to the Palm Pre. Then the Palm Pre, I would travel and take pictures, and then I started hiking because I wanted to take pictures of the countryside and rock climbing and all that stuff. So, yeah, and then it became a part of my life as a
Yeah.
photographer. But again, it wasn't serious. It was just a hobby.
Yeah.
It didn't become a profession until 10 years ago.
Okay. So do you still have some of the old cameras like back in the day, the Polaroids and some of those Kodak
No,
ones?
those are gone. Those are
Those are gone.
long gone. I
Yeah. How do you feel about because you've lived through the evolution
Mhm.
of the cameras? And
Yeah.
I mean, the one you just showed, like, wow.
Yeah, I started out with the little Kodak. The little Kodak, the little Kodak, where you
Yeah.
take the little cube and press it on, and and it
Right.
used to just
Right.
flip every
Yep.
time you press the button.
Yeah.
So that was my first camera. Obviously, it wasn't my camera; it was my mother's camera. And then my mother graduated. I won't say I graduated, but my mother graduated to the Vivitar, which was
Ah.
now the flash was built into the camera. It was a little a little streamlined, and that was easier for me to carry to school, and that was it. And then after that, I started getting into other. Like I said, this was my first real camera where I had to put film into it and have a lens and all that
Yeah.
stuff. So yeah.
So, at what point did you say, okay, I am very passionate about this? What sparked that made that influenced you, that encouraged you, motivated you, inspired you to become a professional photographer?
Oh, that came later on. So Um, and Gwendolyn's in the building. I do believe maybe she might be. I know she's going to be with you next week. So it was Gwendolyn and a bunch of maybe two or three other coworkers that I used to work with at the Container Store,
Wow.
and they were out and about with their cameras. And I was like, and then I would give them like little tips here and there, or from things that I knew about the camera and from reading and playing with the camera. And then one day it just dawned on me. I was like, wait a minute, they're getting their passion for camera, being out and about. I said, why don't I just pick up the camera again? And it was because I was helping other people with their photography that it gave me inspiration to pick up my own camera again. And that's what I did.
Wow. 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 Do
Yeah.
you remember the first picture you took that you were the most proud of? That you said, wow, and then it made you more excited?
Oh, my Pentax, obviously. The Pentax camera, being that I lived in Brooklyn, I used to walk down to a place called the Brooklyn Promenade. And
What?
at the
Yes.
Brooklyn Promenade, you can get these beautiful landscape pictures, cityscape pictures
Yeah.
of New
Yeah.
York City.
Wow.
And so when I first captured the Manhattan skyline in my
Wow.
camera,
Oh,
I was like, well, first of all, remember, it was film. So you
yeah.
took your picture, then took it to the drugstore, and then waited about a week to get your photos. And when the photos came back, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I took these pictures. I can't
Mhm.
believe I took these pictures." And so it made me want to go back and do it more and take. Then I started taking pictures of people and other things. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, wow, wow. So, how did the hmm, so how did the National Geographic? Because all right, so first let's preface this for a minute. National, I don't know when it was, but I'll just when National Geographics, especially back 70s, 80s, maybe a little further, maybe in 60s, I'm not sure, but I know for sure 70s, 80s, some of the
Mhm.
90s, that magazine was everything. It
Yes.
was so huge. So, for a photographer to be featured in National Geographics, that is a big, huge deal. There were so many people, wanting that, but you got it. Can you talk to us about that?
Well, now that's a story that is quite should I if I must say so, wild. It was a
Oh, we
wild
like that.
because um, I had at that point I had left my job and started my career as a photographer. So I was in Africa for about 3 months, several months in Africa, and I took pictures of wildlife and people and culture and all that stuff. And I really thought maybe I would come back and submit my work into National Geographic, other periodicals from the work I captured in Africa. Anyway, long story, none of that happened. And so my mentor, who you guys know is Omar, one of my mentors,
Wow.
and he was kind of like gauging my work as I was traveling. And he kept saying, he would often say, "Man, your work, you're really picking up the camera and picking it up fast. You're learning so much being out in the field." And so when I returned home, his suggestion to me was to submit my work to different periodicals and to competitions,
Mm,
which I was not really into the competition stuff. I just love photographing. That was not my thing.
right, right.
But I was also a part of what's called the National Geographic Your Shot. So National Geographic used to have um, an account that you could submit work, and they used to use that platform to get work from other photographers globally.
Wow.
And so you didn't have to work for National Geographic to have your work featured in National Geographic. There were several ways to get your work in National Geographic. Well, one of them was through Your Shot. And so they had a article that was pitched called Pops of Color 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks before I saw that ask, um, I was in on Fifth Avenue at the Easter parade, and on this particular morning I was late, and I was like, maybe I should go, but then you know how you get that urge that you need to be somewhere, so I ended up going late to Fifth Avenue, and I went straight to St. Patrick's Cathedral where I knew all the people would be hanging out. And this woman walks out of the church with a Finks cat on her shoulder, and she's wearing a white blazer, and the cat has beautiful green eyes, and the cat also has a sweater that matches its eyes.
Wow.
And everything came together perfectly. The light was perfect. The light was coming down. It reflected off her blazer, became like a reflector, and I photographed the heck out of the cat. So I just kept shooting from different angles and all that good stuff. Then fast forward 2 weeks later, Omar and I were having this conversation. He said you should submit your work, and then next thing you know, here's a story that comes out called Pops of Color, and they were asking for submissions for
Wow.
National Geographic Your Shot for this particular article, and I said, well, you know what? I think my cat meets the criteria. So I submitted the cat. I submitted the
Wow.
picture. And then next thing you know, the editor from National Geographic sends me a message. And I was
Wow.
like, is this real?
Wow.
And she says, oh my gosh, I love your cat. And I was shocked. And she says, I think we want to use your photo for the article. However, I'll let you know on Friday. So she called me like Tuesday or Thursday. I think it was like a Tuesday. Anyway, Friday comes along and she texts me, well, I should say emails me, and it says, your photo is one of 30
Wow.
to be in the article for National Geographic. And that's how this that's how my photo got into National Geographic, and
Wow.
that's how I will be always known as having a photo in National Geographic. But it was I thought it would have been something I did in Africa or some other kind of photo,
Yeah.
and it just happened to be a cat on the shoulder of a woman coming out
Wow.
of St. Patrick's Cathedral,
Amazing.
and it changed my career. It really did, because
Yeah.
being able to say
Yeah.
you had a photo in National
That's
Geographic,
a big deal. It
and
is. Yeah.
there were 15,000 submissions,
Phew.
and
Wow.
I was one of 30.
Oh,
So
Ron. Wow.
it was like I ran around the living room. I was
Yeah,
like,
I would too.
I
Yeah.
can't believe it. I'm in National Geographic.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it was their digital magazine. And so it's just an honor to be able to have that on my resume. And
Yeah.
but yeah, like I said, it forever. I could always say, National Geographic published photographer.
Right.
And so,
Yeah.
which is different from working from National Geographic,
Of course.
but but being published is a
Yeah.
good thing.
It's a,
Yeah.
my goodness. So this is the question of all questions.
Yes.
Why did she have a cat with a sweater in church?
Because it was the Easter Sunday bonnet parade.
Oh, so you bring the cat. Bring the
So,
cat to
well,
church.
for those that have ever been to the New York City Easter bonnet parade, they come in, people come with all kinds of stuff. They come with cards, they come with puzzles and banners, and I mean they're wearing the most ostentatious outfits. And so she was very calm. She had a beautiful cat with a beautiful green sweater and green eyes to match. And it was a great opportunity to photograph that wonderful cat.
Yeah. Wow. Look what it led to. Amazing.
Mhm.
Amazing. Amazing. So what kind of photography, Ron, do you specialize in?
So how I make my money is event photography.
Okay.
So here in New York City, most of the time New York, I am a photographer for several companies, and I've done. I mean, I do headshots as well for corporations. So I do corporate headshots and I do event photography. So I work for companies here in New York, some in New Jersey as well. But that's how I make my money. But I also do wildlife photography when I'm on a mission outside of the country. Like right now, I had the opportunity while in Namibia
Mm,
a couple of months ago to go and photograph wildlife again,
yeah. Amazing.
as like when I
Amazing.
first started 10 years ago. And I also have a love for landscape photography, which is why I'm going to Iceland, and
Oh,
I'm
wow.
there often because
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
landscapes.
Isn't it amazing? You live in a gold mine in New York City for
Oh yeah.
photography. I mean, you will never
Oh
run
yeah.
out of something to photograph in New York City.
Yeah, much like you, you use your food as a transport to different countries.
Hmm.
I can use my camera as a transport to different countries.
Mm,
And living in New York, because in New York I can get up in the morning and say, you know what, I want to photograph China today. Well, I can't get on the plane and go to China, but what I can do is go to Chinatown,
right, right.
and I
Exactly.
can and I can still take photos
Yes.
of the customs and the culture of the people
Yes.
that feel like I'm in China. And this
Yeah.
because the way the blocks are made, and how the ornaments on the street signs, and how things are done in Chinatown. Or if I decide I want to go to Spanish Harlem, or I
Hmm.
want to go to the Dominican Republic, or I want to
Yeah.
go. New York City has such diversity in so many different neighborhoods. I can use my camera as a passport, or a plane, to
Yeah.
get to those areas and photograph.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. So, Ron, how do you storytell effectively as a photographer, and how important is storytelling in photography?
Oh, okay. Now you're going deep.
Oh, the
Um,
deep.
the deep word, right? So I started again. Remember, I told you about the smartphone. So I would travel with my smartphone and photograph when I travel, and um, my one of my coworkers approached me. Uh, he was on my team, and he said to me, he says, "Ron, every time you travel and you take photos and you post your photos online, my wife and I live vicariously through you. And so we're senior citizens. We won't have the ability to travel where you're traveling because we can't afford to do so, but we live through your lens.
Mm.
And then that's when it all clicked,
Wow. Wow.
that I had to fit the story
Mm.
all in one frame.
Mm.
So little did I know that's the basics of photography, especially travel photography, is to tell the story all in one frame.
Wow.
And then not only did they share that story with me, but then I was at a church that was following, some people were following my work from at a church I attended, and they were coming up to me and saying the same thing. Oh my gosh, we love when you post your photos of your travels. We they make us feel like we're there.
Yeah.
And so I then started really studying through going to every class I could go to, which was a free class here in New York, or I would have all my little books that I collected, which are like on the side here, and learning how to fit the story into one frame and how to tell what we call it in photography composition.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
getting the composition right to tell
Mhm.
the story.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Ron, what's the most important? I know they all are, but if you had to pick one, what's the most important for a photographer? What should they focus on most? What's the most important for good storytelling in a photography? In a
Well,
photograph.
hmm, uh, that's a difficult question to
Yeah,
answer.
I understand.
Because it depends on the story you want to tell.
Right.
If you're trying to tell a story of an individual, the subject is a person, then you might want to photograph that person in their element,
Mm.
which tells part of the story of who they are, and it complements the picture that you're trying to take of them.
Mm.
Or if it's landscapes, you may be trying to say you just want people to feel like they're there.
Right.
And so in that case, you would try to get the foreground right, the background right, and then the story.
Mhm.
So it is different strategies
Yeah.
for different subjects.
Okay. Do you have a personal favorite aspect of photography? Lighting, composition? What part of it do you enjoy most?
Mm. I love people. I do love landscapes. I really love being in landscapes and enjoying the outdoors and the those moments of just being to myself and kind of like interacting with the environment.
Yeah.
However, the greatest joy I get in my photography is photographing a story regarding people and culture. I was just in Mexico City last month, and there were these folks in front of the church, and they were what you call like spiritual healers, and they had the incense and the smoke and they were helping people. And I stopped in my tracks, and my friends who were with me, they were like, "He's at it." And I saw a scene that was so beautiful that I had to capture it. And it really told the story of these amazing people that were trying to, in their religion, um, they were giving of themselves to the people.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a great moment to capture it
Wow.
in film. I should say in
Mhm.
film, well, in my camera.
Yeah.
And so capturing it with all the smoke, the incense, the smoke from the incense
Yeah.
moving in the air,
Yeah.
the garments they were wearing, the background of the clusters of people.
Mhm.
It just was really a great story to tell.
Wow. Amazing. So somewhere along the line, Ron, something happened in your life that if you're comfortable talking about it, I would love to hear um, what it was like to hear about it and then we can go from there. If you're not comfortable, I have plenty more questions. We can move on. But I want to talk about, you are a survivor, a cancer survivor.
Yes.
Tell me about, if you're comfortable, please tell
Oh
me
yeah. Oh,
about. Okay, awesome, awesome. Because this can
I
help a
always
lot of people. This can help
I
a lot of
always put
people.
my business in the streets.
Okay, so
I'm very
when
comfortable with that. So,
awesome. So when you first heard
mm,
about the diagnosis, wow, because I can only imagine. That's all I can do is be like, oh my God, what that was like, what that would be like for me to hear that. I just, please tell us, what was it like for you?
well, first of all, I didn't hear about the diagnosis until it was until it was over.
Oh, wow.
So so it was I went for my colonoscopy, which, I ended up sharing it online with our community, on the Touch Base Daily community. And so I was trying to also encourage people to get their colonoscopies done. And so I videotaped myself going to the doctors, going into the room, waiting. I did the whole videotaping the whole thing. And so afterwards, we I had finished the examination. Uh, it went so fast, but and then the doctor said, "Hey, we're a little concerned." My doctor he said he was very concerned about an anomaly that was in the colon. What was different about this, the cancer was not in the colon, it was on the outside of the colon. So they saw something different on the wall of the colon. And so my doctor was very proactive. And he says, I don't know what that is on the wall, but we're going to do a biopsy. And so he did a biopsy and it came back negative. Everything, all the tests came back negative, which was a good thing.
Yeah.
So he made an appointment to get this CT scans, the MRIs, all of the tests that I needed to take to get a confirmation of what was going on. And then they found a tumor
Wow.
in the outside of the colon,
Wow.
which my doctor was like, were you feeling any pain? Is there a reason why you came to get your colonoscopy? I said, no, it's just time. It was marked on the calendar. It's time to get the colonoscopy. So I went and I just shared it. But after the surgery was done and they removed the tumor, which ended up being a 2-inch tumor, they found out it was also stage 2 cancer.
Oh my.
And so my doctor, he has a little sense of humor. And we were getting ready for me to leave the hospital. And he comes in that morning. He says, "Hey, great news for you. And today you get to go home. And so you can leave." And but he says, also, I want you to know also, it looks like you beat the cancer.
Wow.
And I was like, what cancer? I was like, what are you talking about? The
Wow.
biopsy came back negative,
Yeah.
and then, from the first test. But when they went in and took the tumor out, they found that it was stage 2 cancer.
Wow.
And so now, I mean, they took it out. They took a section of my
So were
intestine
you
out.
scared originally when you heard about it? Did it scare you? Did it
Um,
shake you? Because man, that's scary.
it's one of those things where cancer runs in my father's side of the family.
Oh wow.
So I have always had in my brain that this could happen one day. It could just happen. And it turned out my cancer was pretty much the same as my aunt's cancer,
Wow.
almost in the same place. Um, and so, but everyone in my family has, except for one family member, has survived their cancers. So I was worried, but not worried. I
Oh,
was like,
okay. Okay.
people have cancer and they survive.
Yeah.
So when they took it out and they realized that, and then they obviously months later I had to do the blood work and get the screenings and the checks, and so far everything is good and
Wow.
nothing has, I'm cancer free.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it did I mean, when I just felt really when the doctor told me that, I was at peace because
Mm.
I knew that for those that know, I have faith and I believe in God, and I just knew God was in control.
Wow.
I mean, because one is I ended up going to get my colonoscopy because I was trying to help others. I was like, "Hey guys, you need to go get your colonoscopy. Join me on this show."
Mhm.
And then next thing you know, I found out I have cancer.
Oh,
But but then the other part about it all was that it was a learning experience
yeah.
because my doctor was he says, you know, we wouldn't have caught this until it was too late because of it being on the outside of the colon. And
Wow.
so he said if it would have came up as cancer, it would have spread already through the intestine. So
Oh
I
my.
felt really blessed. I have to tell you,
Yeah.
I felt like I had won $1 million. I felt
Yeah.
like, oh no, now I'm gonna really live life. And that's
Yeah.
what I did.
Yeah. Oh, see right there.
And
Right there.
that's what was supposed to happen 2 years from now.
Yeah.
Uh, I ended up I accelerated my life plan. I sold my home, I
Yeah.
gave away stuff, I got my life together to live this nomadic life, and, because you only have 1 life to live
Yeah.
on Earth,
Yeah.
and, I realized that life is short,
Yeah.
and any day you could come up with something could happen,
Yeah.
and someone can say, "Hey, you have cancer," or "You have this," or anything could happen in life. So
Yeah.
you have to live your best life now. And
Yeah.
so I made it a purpose to live my best life
Yeah.
now. And
Yeah.
if I can bless others along the way,
Yeah.
I will do so.
And so the cancer diagnosis led to that attitude, that thinking.
I've always had that
Yeah.
way of thinking, but
Yeah.
it accelerated it.
Got it.
It was almost like putting gasoline
Yeah.
on of open flame.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I became more proactive
Yeah.
about living my best life now.
Awesome. Now, Ron, it's the hour is over. If you don't have time to move on, that's fine. We'll get you on
Oh,
another time. Are
you
you
can have
good?
me as long as you want. I
You
can
good?
you know how I feel about this kind of stuff.
All right. All right.
We can
Hey,
take it as long
order
as you
that
want.
pizza. Order that pizza. All right. Let me get another drink. You over there.
Yes.
All right. Anyway. Okay, Ron, that's a good point. That's exactly why I asked about the cancer.
Yeah.
Because now, first of all, praise God that that came out great, that you came out with more than a victory, literally with more than a victory in that situation. So I'm grateful to God for doing that for you. I'm grateful that you're still here. You are a blessing. I love you, Ron. I love your smile. You're a brother in the Lord, and man, nothing but love here, man. So listen, that's a good point you brought up. How important is it? And then it'll lead into the nomadic journey. So that's so important what you said, and my heart goes out to all the people of Nepal. The
Yes.
people, the footage that I saw was horrific. Horrific.
Horrific.
I could not imagine, oh man, going through that. I pray for the people of Nepal. I pray for that God will comfort them in the midst of this. I don't understand everything, but I just pray that God will strengthen them, encourage them, and comfort them through this, and that somehow, some way, nothing is impossible with God, that something good can come out of this in some
Yeah.
way. Oh God, that they would find their loved ones. And man, it's so sad. But that brings me to the point is, how many of us have dreams? The cemeteries are
Mhm.
filled with books that were never written, photos that were never taken, videos that were never recorded, dreams. The cemetery is full of dead dreams. A lot of
Yes.
people never, they have desires, they have passions, they have ideas, they have it all in their head. But what happened with you in that situation where you were like, you know what, why wait to a tragedy to happen? Why wait for something horrific from the doctors to be told to you for you to be like, you know what, I'm going to start living life?
Mhm.
Ron, speak to that, please.
Well, again, it started 10 years ago. I was at my old job that I was at, and some situation life, life is just interesting. You are put in circumstances that awaken you to some realities, if you want to say. So I began this journey about 10 years ago, and becoming a full-time photographer, choosing yourself, choosing uh, you are the most important thing on the list of important things to do.
Yeah.
So I realized back 10 years ago, I'm celebrating 10 years of being in photography full time.
Wow.
So I started my journey in 2016, and now I'm in 2026. Who would have known that so many doors open because I made that decision? But again, I've always been someone that has been in the mindset of the future. I'm always thinking 10 years from now. What am I doing today that's going to help me 10 years from now? That's been my mindset since probably, I would say, since my 20s. And so, I mean, that's why I bought my apartment when I was in my 30s. And I was like, 30 years from now, I'll sell it and I'll retire and we'll go from there. But again, I've always had the mindset of the future. And so I still live with that. I still live with, it's so funny you said that today. I was just talking to my nurse today. Today I had some tests done, and the nurse, she just bought a camera, and she saw me with my camera, and she said, "Oh my gosh, you," she said, "What kind of camera is that?" And I was telling her about the camera, and she says, I love I just picked up a camera and I'm excited about it." And I told her to go and shoot, use it, photograph everything she can take every day. And we had this discussion, but then I shared with her the same analogy. I said, "Live your life now."
Mm.
I said, "You got this camera. Now use it." I said, "You've had this dream, seems like, that you want to be a photographer. Do it." I said, "There are a lot of people in the cemetery right now that wish they could have picked up that camera,
Wow.
but never did it."
Wow.
So it's so funny that you would use that analogy, because that's the same analogy I used with her today. And we, I am a believer that you just have to live each day, live in the now,
Mm.
but also think about the future. Prepare, work for the future,
Yeah.
and then be thankful for the past.
Yeah.
So that's how I
Yes.
pretty much that's I live in three time zones, if you want to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. I hear you. So, it's so important because there are so many of you. What are you waiting for to write that book? What are you
Oh,
waiting for to fulfill that vision? There's a saying, Ron, that changed my life many, many years ago. There's a few things that quotes that people have said to me that have really changed my life. And one of them was this: follow your dreams, or you will continue to work for somebody who did.
mm.
Yeah, let's Sela on that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
that's worth
all we say. Put a pin in that one.
it. Follow your dreams, or you will continue to work for someone who did. Now, um, for those of you out there, you have this, you're thinking, I want to do this, and one day, and sometimes that one day, you're not promising tomorrow's not, you don't know what's going to happen. What are you waiting for? What if that never comes? What if everything doesn't line up perfectly?
Yeah.
For some people, it's, I have a vision, but I don't have the provision. I have a vision, but it costs a lot of money to fulfill my vision. And since I
Mm,
don't have the money, I'm just going to wait till the money to come. And the way I see it is this: despise not the day of small beginnings. Every oak tree started out as an acorn.
mm,
Every oak tree started out as an acorn. And here's the other thing: we talk about faith here. I think about the story of the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes. And that's all he needed. That's all he said. He just, give me what you got. What is it
mhm,
that you have? Everybody has a 5 lobes and 2 fishes, whether it's your phone, whether it's a pen and paper, whatever your dream is. Everybody, that's for somebody listening right now. I don't know how I know this, but I'm telling you, there's somebody right now who's being touched and moved by what we're saying, because deep down inside you have a dream. Somebody, you have a calling, and you're waiting for everything to line up. You're waiting for God. Well, maybe God has you ordered your steps to the podcast to tell you, while you're waiting for God, God is saying, I'm waiting for you. You take a step, you step out, and then you will find out. It's so important to live your best life, just like Ron is right now. He's living his best life. Ron, how did you come to a decision? Explain to us what in the world does it mean for you, a nomadic journey. Nomadic, that word means something.
Oh
So
yeah, it means I don't have
you
a home. No, no,
so
no.
just
I
like
have a
me,
home right here.
I packed my bags and I'm traveling the United States. You, but at least I can come, I got a home to come back to. You decided to do this. Tell me what led to this nomadic journey. What led to it? What were you thinking to say, you know what? I'm just going to sell my house or apartment or whatever, and I'm just going to go. I may not even know where I'm going. I'm just going. Tell us about that.
I will tell you, it's just simply faith. I mean, because again, 10 years ago, when I first started this journey as a professional photographer, um, it was it was faith, really. I mean, I have to tell you, I did not know how I was gonna pay for this new career I was starting, diving into it full time. I did not know. I didn't have half the answers, and but I still stepped out in faith, and I really believe that. I mean, obviously, I didn't just jump out and just do it. I also went to. I am a believer in the counsel of many. There's wisdom, so I went to several of
Yeah.
my friends that know me. I went to certain family members that know me very well, and I shared with them what I was feeling, what I was thinking, what I was getting ready to step into, and I got a lot of okays, and I got a lot of support. I got a lot of people that were in my corner and say, "Look, if this is, I really feel it for you. Let's go for it." So having a good support system has definitely been an amazing part of the journey. Having people in my life that are can speak into my life, and also being vulnerable enough to say, "I need help,"
Yeah.
or "What do you think about this?"
Yeah.
So I think those two things work together. You have to be vulnerable to share your dreams with people that are in your corner that love you, and not be insulted, or I should say, leave room for their speaking into your life, or speaking what they feel or share or can see in areas that you cannot see.
Yeah.
But then I did it, and change for it, for the better. I mean, I became a member of the Manhattan Chamber. I became an ambassador to the chamber. I photographed some of the most amazing people in New York City. I photographed the governor. I photographed the mayor. I photographed council people. I photographed entertainers, movie stars. I've my camera has taken me to places I would have never
Wow.
ever dreamed of doing. I just got back from the African American Film Festival
Yeah.
3 weeks ago, photographing some of the most amazing Black celebrities in one location. So I consider myself extremely blessed, because again, you have to just start with faith. I do believe faith is the key to everything,
Wow.
and and then when I was in South Africa the first time, my guide told me, he approached me with a question, and I've mentioned it on my platform. He said, "Young man, what is fear?" And I thought he was joking. So I was like, "Okay, what is fear?" And I'm trying to figure out where's this guy going.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had never heard the term before. And he said, "Well, it's false evidence appearing real." And I said, hmm, I like that.
Yeah.
And it became a foundation to my one of my pillars.
Mm.
Fear is simply not knowing what's it's the false evidence. You've never done it before. So how do you know how it feels? How do you
Yeah.
know if you're going to be successful? So
Right.
just get out there and do it.
Mm.
If you don't find success in the actual thing, you still will find success in learning in the approach of doing it.
Right. Right.
So it's a win-win.
Yeah.
You win whether you accomplish it,
Yeah.
or you win from learning from it.
Yeah. That's the thing too, is the fear of failure. Like
Yeah.
in my mind, I envision the business. I envision the book. I envision me acting, me singing, whatever your calling or passion is. You
Mhm.
see it in your mind. And guess what? In your mind, there's no failure. In your mind, it's all the good stuff is going on in your mind. But when it comes down to now executing what you had in your mind, acting it out, stepping out on that vision, now for a lot of people, it's the fear of failure. But you know what? Again, like you just said, like, so what? So what?
Yeah.
Hey, at least I'm thinking about Peter when he was walking on the water. But yeah, he did sink. Christ took him back up, but at least he got to walk on the water.
You got to
You
walk on
see?
water. No one
Yeah,
else has. No, not that we
exactly.
know of.
Exactly. So we all do things like, even the podcast that I'm doing, I do it because I want a place for people to come who are foodies, people who love food and culture. Let's come, let's interact, let's talk, let's have fun. And eventually, my main goal is that somebody who watches the podcast would be encouraged, strengthened, comforted, motivated, inspired, put a smile on your face. That's what we want from this. So at the end
Yeah.
of the day, we take steps in our lives, and not it's okay. I think Abraham Lincoln tried becoming president many times
Many
before he
times.
actually became president. Anybody who invented,
Hello. How about who
yeah,
else did that? What other president did that? We know what Joe Biden? How many
okay,
times did Joe Biden run before he became president?
okay, yeah, another
Yep.
example.
So it happens.
So even when it comes to starting a business, whatever it is, what if the business? Well, what if it succeeds?
Exactly.
What if it fails? But what if it succeeds? So Ron, so not too long ago, you decided to sell your house and take this step of faith that you're talking about. But not everybody gets to that point. What was it? What is it you're looking for? Why did you say, I think what I'm thinking about right now is, you ever seen Lord of the Rings?
Yes.
Oh my God, that's probably my favorite movie. I love the first one. Oh
Which
my
the first one?
goodness. Yeah, I
The first
love
one's the
that.
best one. The first
Oh,
one is the best one.
yeah, many people believe that. I think
Yeah.
so. It's my favorite. But anyway, I think about, if you remember The Hobbit, or
Yes.
Frodo when he has his staff and he's about to go on his journey. I think about The Hobbit where Bilbo was about to go on that journey. So you see him walking out of the Shire with the staff. I kind of see you doing that. Like, all right, I'm out now. I don't know, Lord, but here we go. So that's crazy. What pushed you to actually, all right, I was thinking this, but now I'm going to actually step out. That's nuts. And then
Well,
and then where was the first place you went?
it's amazing you was well, this is a long I'm gonna try to be short with it. Um when I when the apartment was sold, well, first of all, as you're leading, because you just don't wake up and sell your apartment. There's a lot that goes into changing your life on that level. You have to prep stuff, you have to get rid of stuff, you have to get the home ready, you have to put it on the market, you have to get the brokers, you gotta get all there's so much work that goes into that stuff. And but
Especially in
then
New York.
especially in New York, and then the legalities of everything. But then when someone actually buys the apartment, and then now, oh, this is real, this is
Wow.
happening.
Wow.
But before that happened, I had such great support.
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm in my son's apartment. I mean, whole apartment in his house. He's like, "Yo, Pop, don't worry about it. You can come stay with us." And I was like, and at that point, I didn't know before he said that, I didn't know what I was going to be, where I was going to be.
Yeah.
I was planning to just go and live with my, live on the couches or the extra spare bedrooms or floors of my friends around the globe. But it was so nice to be able to have this to come home to,
Yeah.
and to have family to come home to, and it really made the decision making a lot smoother.
Yeah.
But still, I'm, to be with for this is the first time in my life that I'm not in total control.
Wow.
So, and if you are like myself, I am a bit of a control freak. So I thrive on being in control. I need to have everything the way I think it should be. So, this is a new period of my life, which is teaching me uh, a new level of abandonment, which
Mm,
I haven't had this kind of abandonment since I was a child, because I've always been in control. I've
mm,
been in control as a teenager. So my parents were separated. I was always the one leading, always taking care of everyone, taking care of my sister. So I've always been in control. So this is the first time in my life that I am not in control.
mm,
And at first it was quite unsettling, yet it brought me joy, because I woke up each morning saying, "Okay, God, where you taking us today? Where are we going today? Who am I meeting today?"
yeah.
And so got on the plane for the first time in this journey, February 16th, 6 months ago, going on 7. And my first stop was Portugal.
Wow.
And my cousin was with me and his girlfriend, and we had a great time. We was moving, and then they leave me. They leave me, and then I go to the next journey. I go to France and visit my friends who had just got married, and then I went to their house in the south of France and spent time with them. And then after that, I left them and went back to Germany, and then went from Germany, and then I ended up flying into Namibia, then staying in Namibia with my buddy there, and he has a beautiful spare room, and I was able to have my own space and then leave from there and use that as my hub, and then go to South Africa, and then from South Africa back, and then so on, so on. So, and this journey has been also unpredictable. There are certain places that, like I will say, Mexico City was not on my radar until it was on the radar. Dominican Republic
Mm,
cruise was not on my radar until it was on my radar. Iceland was not on my radar in July until it was on my radar.
mm,
So I've been living this life of faith, and I've been living this life of, God, where are you going to take me next?
yeah.
And I find that everywhere I go, I am I am being a blessing to someone. I'll share this real quick. I was in South Africa, and my Uber, or I should say Bolt guy, because they have like a Bolt and Uber, but Bolt came to pick me up from my hotel to take me to the museum. The museum is in a not so nice area of South in Cape Town. So when the ladies in the museum saw me with all my camera gear, they were like, "You're not going back out in the street with that gear." And I was like, "Yeah, no problem." She goes, "No, no, no, no. You need to call your car back and to come pick you up." So, but on the way to the museum, this young man and I were talking. We had this great conversation, and we just start talking. And he was curious about me as a photographer. I was curious, what he did as a living in South Africa. Was he born and raised in Cape Town? Yada yada yada. Anyway, we connected. I call him up, and you know, I said, God, I hope this young man answers his phone. He just gave me the number for some reason. And I called him up, and then I said, you know what? And the thought came to me, hey, you're going to need a driver for the week.
Mm,
Why don't you just hire him? So
mm,
I asked, would you be my driver for the week? And in that week, the lessons I learned from him, and I was able to give him so much Oh god, it was like me being a college professor teaching business class. We
Yeah.
would talk about business, how to develop his business plan, and we talked every day. I hired him, and at the first day we were out, he looked at me. We did the story. My first task with him was tell me what you're worth. And he looked at me like, what kind of question is that? And I said, well, if I'm hiring you for the week, do you have a do you have money that, do you have a number that you want to give me? He says, no, I never thought about that, sir. I said, well, tell me, what are you worth? And then I gave him some basic tips on how to figure that out. Long story short, at the end of the day, he gave me his worth, and I paid him his worth. And he started to cry.
Wow.
He says, God sent you to me.
Wow.
He says, he was like, oh my God. He was like, he was so full of joy.
Yeah.
I was overwhelmed because he was just so thankful
Wow.
because work has been short
Wow.
in Cape Town. And so every week we went to every day we went to a different destination. He got paid every day. And at the end of the week, when it was time for me to leave, he looked at me, he started to cry, and he says, thank you for being a blessing. Thank you for, and I can tell he was a believer, or, because he started to really, he understood where the blessing came from,
Wow.
and we sat there. He said, so when you come back, he said, I want to come, or when I'm coming to Namibia, and I'm going to drive you from Namibia to South Africa, and it's going to be my treat. And I said, okay, we could do it whenever you want to. But I say that because that whole week, which ended up being 2 weeks, not just 1 week, it ended up being 2 weeks. And I had this opportunity to be a blessing. And not only that, but other people
Yeah.
in Cape Town, and all that stuff that happened. It's amazing if you just trust. And like I said, so I know some people are not believers, but I am a believer, and I
Eat
have
the
to tell
meat and
you,
throw out the bones.
if I just realize every day, if I just get up and trust God to do what He's going to do, and I just say, okay, universe, God, let the universe do its work. And I know God's in control of the universe. I know God's control of everything. So, and it has been the most rewarding journey. I've done 8 countries in 6 months.
Wow.
And every place I've been blessed, and I've been able to bless others.
Amazing.
And so this journey is teaching me a whole lot. Is
That's
teaching,
what I was going to ask you next.
yeah,
Is
I'm
what
learning
have
a lot
you?
about myself.
Yeah, exactly. So, what have you learned about yourself so far on this journey?
One is surrender.
Ooh.
I'm learning to surrender,
Mm.
to really, I had to get realignment with trusting that everything's going to work out, and that God is in control, and that I know that I'm going to land where I need to be. And so that was the first and the second one would be, I am I am not as a control freak as I thought I was. I've been able to surrender in such a way that I'm very comfortable with the uncomfortable. And that has been an interesting lesson, that being being comfortable with being uncomfortable. And because I'm used to having all my comforts, my creature comforts, I can go home. When I used to, when I had my apartment, I can just do what I want. I can go
Mhm.
home.
Mhm.
My life is a lot more um, tailored in a good way,
Yeah.
and I get to meet so many cool people along the way. And like I said, it is a delight to be a blessing to others.
Yeah.
There's nothing greater
Yeah,
than serving people.
I agree. Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. What's the biggest challenge of the journey so far?
The airports. The airports. I mean, every airport is different. Every every security measure is different. Visa situations are different. For the most part, I haven't really had to deal with a lot of visa problems. I haven't had a visa problem, but some of the waiting and the prepping when you're entering a country for the first time. So, and learning the country, learning the customs. And so, what I try to do before I land is I will go to my Wikipedia and I will go through and learn all the history of the country, learn the customs, the life, just kind of get an overview of the country, so that way I'm not in total shock when I get there. So, uh, yeah, I mean, the most difficult are the airports. Sometimes the airplane is not as big as you think it's going to be,
Mm,
and so they will say, you know what, you can't take that on the airplane. You can't carry that on, and I'm like, oh well, I have to carry this on. So I've learned also how to pack my valuables so that they're always with me. Like my camera gear is always with me at all times, and then put the secondary stuff in the carry-ons if in case they take it from me and say, "Hey, it has to go into the underneath the plane."
mhm.
But I would say the most difficult part would be the airports and those logistics.
Yeah,
But other than that, it's been great.
yeah. Where are you going next, Ron?
The next I leave on next week. I'm here,
Iceland.
I'm home for a little bit, and then I leave for Iceland, and then I head to Greenland.
Yeah. Greenland.
So I'll
Wow.
be in
A lot of
Greenland.
cold weather.
Oh, I love the cold.
You ready for that? You
I
got
was
your beanie. You
born for
got your
the
beanies
cold.
ready.
I
You
got my
got your beanies
beanies
packed
ready.
up.
I got everything ready. I got my long johns. I got my ski equipment. I got everything I need. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to going to Greenland. I've always wanted to go to the Arctic Circle, and so I'll be in Greenland. And I'm also I was just telling Adrian uh, that I will have the opportunity if it happens. We are now in aurora light season, so
Mm.
hopefully I will get to
Oh
see the
wow!
the northern lights, and
To
which I've
get
never.
photography of that.
Yes, yeah,
Wow.
that would be if I can get the polar bear and photograph the polar bear. That would be the highlight of my
Stuff
trip,
that you used to
and
find on
yeah.
National Geographics
Exactly. Well, when I was
is
a kid, I looked at National. I used to. My aunt used to have stacks and stacks of National Geographic. So, I've. It was those books that spurred me, or I should say, encouraged me to travel.
yeah,
And I everything I've wanted to do as a child, I've pretty much done. I'm doing as an adult.
yeah. So after Iceland, what Greenland, and then after that, what's next?
Canada. I go to Canada after that. So
What?
I leave from Greenland and then I'll be in Canada.
What
I'll be
part of
in
Canada?
Newfoundland and Nova Scotia.
I was about to say that. Wow.
Yeah.
Everybody that I know that's been to Nova Scotia likes it.
Yeah, I've been there before.
Oh wow.
But my buddy has not been there, so I'm gonna be showing him around Canada. So it's gonna be a nice
Some
nice time to help
poutine,
someone.
some Tim Hortons. Are you a coffee person?
No, I am not a coffee person. I am a tea person. I love tea.
Oh yes. What kind of tea?
Ginger tea,
Mm,
mint tea,
yeah.
any tea with flavoring.
Yeah. You ever had Rubio's tea?
No, what's
Oh,
Rubio's?
it's from Africa. It's there's no caffeine. I really don't know too much about what it is exactly.
Mm,
Rubios, Roobios, I believe it's spelled. Oh,
mm.
it has a caramel, earthy caramel taste. You add a little honey to it. It's excellent. But that's a great tea. Oolong tea. You like oolong?
I do. Yes, I used to go to Tivana. I used to be a true Tivana warrior. Tivana used to be in the malls here in New York. And you would go there and get all kinds of teas from different parts of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow, I love that's like a candy store for me.
yeah,
So, all the
Tivana.
food that you have eaten, first of all, out of all the places that you have already been, and I'm sure you've had fun in all of them, what's been your favorite so far?
As in food?
As everything, just like, wow, this was the best.
Well, each place I visit has wowed me food wise and culture wise. When we arrived into Portugal, that was the first destination. I went to a restaurant and they had I ordered this salmon salad, and the salmon salad was done to perfection. And not only that, I mean, they really fed you. So I was like, oh my gosh, if this was in New York, they would give this to two people, but it was just for me. And so I had and the food was so fresh. The greatest exposure of traveling abroad is how fresh the food is.
Wow.
And also, in most places you have to wait to eat because it's being made from scratch. So it's not like a fast food place. You sit down and the food's coming in within minutes. No, you wait, and which is the norm in most countries. Most people are having conversation while they wait. So you really don't get caught up in, oh, where's the food? No, because most of the time when you are waiting, you are having conversation. And so that's been the great part. The foods have been amazing. Uh, yeah, I went to a restaurant today and I was like, where's the world? Because it was a little restaurant on the east side, and it was just so it had no the food was very bland. And I was like, and then I was just in Fort Lauderdale, and we went to this Haitian restaurant where the foods, the every dish, every single thing was so delicious. And then again, Dr. Tachi and I went to so many places to eat, and every place we ate was phenomenal. And I'm a foodie, so when I go to a country, one of the things I am always looking for is good food, besides the landscapes and everything else. Oh, you're muted.
Are we back? Are we back?
Yes, you're
All right.
back.
I'm back. I'm back. Okay. So, Ron, we're going to wrap this up. What if there is one tip that you can give a photographer? One, if there was just one tip that you can give a photographer to be better, what would that be?
As an old timer said to me, and I keep passing it on. I just passed it on to this young lady today. Shoot, shoot, shoot. Photograph every day. Photograph whatever you love. Photograph. Take the camera, whatever camera it is, whether it's your smartphone or a film camera or digital, mirrorless. Take your camera out and use it. And just shoot. The more you shoot with your camera, the more you become one with it. You begin to learn your camera. Your camera becomes your best friend. You begin to know what settings work and what settings don't work for your style. You will discover your style the more you shoot. So the
Wow.
answer to the question is shoot, shoot,
Shoot
shoot.
and shoot and shoot some more.
Keep shooting.
All right. Wow. So, Ron, you're going to be giving us where can we find you on social media?
Well, on everything is Ron Lewis Photos. So you can find Ron Lewis Photos on my website, which you can find all my images. You can go to Instagram, Ron Lewis Photos, and you can go to YouTube, Ron Lewis Photos, which is also where we have our YouTube community, which is our Touch Base Daily community.
Yeah. Wow. So you touch base daily on YouTube at
Oh yeah,
on Ron Lewis photos.
it's under Ron Lewis Photos.
Yeah. And what time is that every day?
Oh, usually, well, I have a 5:30 show in the mornings for those that want to get up 5:30 Eastern time, and then I also have the 11 o'clock show,
Yeah.
where the foundation of our platform is located.
I woke up one morning. I woke up around 4 something one morning.
He said, "Is
And
that man on there?"
I'm like, Ron, what the hell you drinking, Ron? Are you all right? Where is this man? 5 o'clock in the morning? But
5 o'clock in the morning. Yes.
yeah, that's cool. What have you found doing that? You've been doing it, so you must enjoy it.
Uh, it started when I was in Namibia, and so I was in Namibia, and I'm sorry, no, it started in South Africa. So I was in South Africa, and I would go to the balcony, and I said, you know what, let me just go on live. And I knew it was 5 o'clock in the east, but
Ah,
it was 10 o'clock in South Africa. So I would just go on, and I said, "Hey, what's going on? Welcome," and I would just introduce myself, and then every day there'll be new people in the comments and being a part of the discussion, and they were popping up. I was meeting all these folks from that time zone, and so it just grew. The audience grew. Literally it took our that audience took us from being, I think when I started, I had maybe 800 subscribers. And because I started doing that particular part of my connecting with people, it moved us right over. When I was leaving Namibia, we hit the 1,000 mark on subscribers in YouTube. And that a lot of that came from our new community in the other parts of the world.
wow, that's amazing. Oh, Ron, so Iceland is next, and you will be showing us. Are you showing us pictures on your
Oh,
social media?
yes. Oh, yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Yeah,
And if
that's
you're in the YouTube channel, you'll get some photos. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna try to get some photos out this weekend, from last week. The only that's the other challenge is that when you are traveling 8 countries in 6 months,
mm,
you never really get a chance to get settled down to edit all of these photos. So I
oh,
try to
wow.
get some in, and then I share some.
Yeah, yeah. What? There's a book I heard. Is there a book coming up? What's this about?
Yeah, all this traveling is to ultimately have a book. So
Oh,
so
oh,
eventually I will have a book of all of my life's work.
wow.
And so one of my mentors is gave me some great feedback on that. And at first I thought I was just going to do separate books, but they've been in the book game for a long time, and they gave me some really good advice, and they were saying you should do a life work book, and so it will contain all of my photos from the beginning of this journey, which was,
Wow.
yeah, so technically 10 years of work.
Wow. That's going to be amazing to see. What a feeling it's going to be for you to have that. Wow, wow,
Yeah,
wow. That's exciting.
finally.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Ron, listen, thank you for being available and willing to join us here tonight. I know you're busy and you're back on the road. You're going to Iceland. That's freaking crazy. And then
Yes.
Greenland afterward, and then Newfoundland, then Nova Scotia. That sounds like so much fun. My brother, please be safe. Take care of yourself. Thank you so
Well,
much for
and
being.
before you leave, I just
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
say
yeah.
thank you to you.
Oh,
Thank you for inviting me to this platform.
sure.
Thank you for being a part of Touch Base Daily and always being there, asking questions, showing up. It means the world to me that you are always there. Whenever you're there, it just is part of the foundation of who we are as a
Thank
community. And so I am very thankful to you
thank you.
for being a part of my life as I continue to work in this journey.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. We're thinking of you here at the Food Plane. Thank you, Ron, and we will talk soon. Thank you so much again.
Thank you, everybody.
Wow, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Ron Foster. Wow, what an inspiring story. I think that's the word of the day is go do it. Just do it. Just go ahead, fulfill your dream. Remember, I said earlier, fulfill your dreams or you will continue to work for someone who did. Go ahead, take your 5 loaves, take your 2 fish, and just say, God, here it is. And take these small steps. Despise not the day of small beginnings. Fulfill your dream. I mean, this guy is traveling the world. Ron's traveling the world, having the time of his life, meeting. I could just imagine how much spiritual fun that is. The encounters, how God orders your steps to the right person at the right place at the right time to get the right stuff. Oh man, that sounds like a lot of fun. Anyway, all right. So next week, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only G.R. Houston Jack for part 2 of our conversation. Oh, that was if you missed part 1, give that a watch. Oh man, yeah, that was a good one. Oh, by the way, I gotta let you know before we let you leave, this is happening. Yes, I know it's early, but I could almost smell and feel the fall. We're just a few days away from the unofficial start of autumn. We're just a few more days away. Yes, the pot is having a Halloween special, tricks, treats, and a giveaway of up to $100. We're going to have spectacular guests. We are playing a huge game for charity. We're going to have special guests in costumes. It's going to be a lot of fun, so you don't want to miss it. Thursday night, October the 29th, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And I just want to say a big thank you to everyone. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like, and share this with somebody. Somebody out there may need the encouragement that they heard. Somebody may be having a dream and don't know what step to take. Well, share this. It could be a blessing to pass the bread. Pass the bread, huh? So listen, thank you guys. I will see you next week right here. America's Best Food Destinations will continue next Saturday at 11 a.m. Brand new destination, brand new place, 11 a.m. next week. And again, thank you all for watching. Thank you for your support. Remember to hit that subscribe, like, and share. And I'll see you next week.